All right.
So yeah, so it looks like got a few followers so far. Hi
All
everyone, it's
right.
Jen from Wonderful Machine. We're going to be talking to commercial and editorial photographer William DeShazer today. He's out of Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, we're going to keep it casual, fun, get to know something about him and his work. And there we go. So, how's your day so far, William?
Pretty good. Just got a workout in, so that's good. Trying to maintain mental health these days. Um, and thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So happy first day of fall as well.
Yeah, likewise.
Thanks.
How's the air quality's getting a little better there?
It's getting better. Yeah, it's a little bit clearer today. I got a workout in as well, so
Good.
feeling
Nice.
good. So, you've been maintaining, I hear, during this crazy time and doing a little bit of work here and there.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year to say the least. I'm sure everybody out there feels the same way. Um, it started out, coming off the heels of 2019 and it being an amazing year for me, and then kind of continuing that snowball into 2020, and then started off with a commercial shoot in right outside of Houston, Texas, and just starting to do some magazine shoots and my regular commitment to the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. And then just COVID hit and everything kind of stopped. So I have lost about $30,000 worth of work this year. So
Oh man,
yeah, so it's
that's
been it's
rough.
been rough, but we saved and we've been pinching pennies and still feeling pretty good about everything.
Cool. Yeah, you gotta remain positive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big factor these days.
Cool. Well, I know that you have something that you've done recently, even during this time. Is that something that you could
Yeah,
talk to us about?
yeah. Fortunately, we were able to get a commercial shoot in, which I can't really talk about the company or the shoot. That's kind of hopefully we'll be able to share soon. But it was a pretty good commercial shoot. We talked with the client and we were able to get in on the ground floor and had plenty of PPE on hand, and I had a thin staff. I just brought my excuse me for everybody to
No
hear there.
problem.
Um, I just brought in my assistant, and actually is a digital tech as well. So it was just me and an assistant, and we were doing product actually, and which is not something I'm necessarily known for. But they saw some of my work that I had done with bourbon clientele, and they loved the way I had lit bourbon bottles and tasting rooms and that sort of thing, and they wanted to apply that to their product. So we kind of ran with that, and I we talked it out and said that going forward we're going to just keep this, because we at that time we didn't know what COVID really was and what was happening. So we limited how many people could be in the studio space, and they agreed upon that. And we were very respectful of their space and just made it work. So
Cool. And this is something where the client was there with you on set, or were they remote?
they were there on set. It actually took place in their building. So they had a video studio set up. So we just kind of turned that into a um, photo studio essentially, and were able to use their space. At that point, no employee was going into the building. There was just some heads of the project who were popping in and out, but it was us, myself, and my assistant, and then one of their team leads, and then two heads would kind of come in occasionally just to kind of check on things. It went really smoothly, and hopefully, the book that they're putting together will be out soon.
Ooh, there's a book.
There's a book. It should be a really kind of sexy book. showcasing all their products. And we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations because you did a product shoot where you're not really selling yourself as a product photographer. So
Right, right.
that's
And
inspiring.
well, I think I've heard from a lot of people, especially right now in the industry, that are trying to find a niche. And I've kind of gone against that grain. One thing I think just for me, if I just did one thing, I would go insane. I like to diversify and have different shoots and do things differently. And that helps my creative juices as well. So the idea of being able to adapt and learn something new and always be creative, that's first and foremost to me. And it's been a really good business strategy for me here in Nashville because Nashville's booming, which I think,
Hmm.
I can capitalize on a lot of different things here. So,
Awesome. And what would you say was like your favorite thing about shooting these products? Like learning something new, working with a client, just the outcome of how the images came out?
well, I always love the collaboration. That's something that I'm getting more and more comfortable with. I feel my past is all based in newspapers.
Uh-huh.
And so after 12 years of working in newspapers, you learn to be an island. And the fact that now I can kind of bounce ideas off of other people and work
That's okay.
team, it's just such a huge game changer. It's such a huge shift in the creative process. So I love that. But the biggest thing I think is just learning more Photoshop techniques and getting more comfortable with the post processing. Because that's something, again, with that newspaper background, it's been instilled in us to and not kind of digitally alter things. And so it's been
Mhm.
so nice to just kind of play and be creative. And I'm really embracing that and starting to learn more about that.
That's awesome. So if anybody's just joining, I'm here with William DeShazer out of Nashville, Tennessee. And this is Jen Warren. We're doing a little live interview about what he's been up to, saying hi, checking in. So you just were working on this product shoot and you were talking
Mm-hmm.
about you get to do some new Photoshop skills. Is this something that you're learning on your own or you kind of have a mentor with that?
Well, it's actually, I have a great situation here. Somebody who I actually went to college with and studied photojournalism with is now a product photographer who's actually based in Nashville as well. And so we have this agreement where I assist him on shoots and he assists me. And his product photography is phenomenal. His name is Fielder William Strain, and I can't say enough good things about him. And there's a lot of trust there. We trust each other and our businesses wholeheartedly. I'm actually assisting him later this week for a commercial shoot, and he's totally embraced Photoshop, and he's been teaching me a lot. He's been pushing me and motivating me to kind of stay up on it and learn new techniques. And I can't say enough about having somebody in your corner like that.
Yeah, that's great. That's key. You got to have a good
Hmm.
team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the trust thing with a partner is huge as well.
Nice. So how many days was this shoot that you did?
It was 2 days, probably about 10 to 12 hour days, 19 different products. And actually, there was a third day in there, but that was something a little different later on. But yeah, 2 days on set, um, 19 products, multiple angles, multiple lighting setups, and just plowing through it and getting it done.
Nice. And how many images would you say that you delivered to the client?
Oh gosh. I would say under 200. Um, you know, I'm a loose editor anyways. And so we worked and collaborated on making sure that they had plenty of options for this book, and for usage later and what they wanted. But I would say probably somewhere around 160, 180, somewhere in there.
It's a good amount of images in 2 days.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Congratulations.
work. Thanks, thanks.
Well, excited to see when this book comes out and to see your work.
Me too. I'm chomping at the bit for it. So,
Nice. Cool. So I also just wanted to hear a little bit about like some personal things about you. I know that you on your website you have some portraits of musicians. I think you like
mhm.
to collect music. So I was kind of wondering,
Yeah.
like, if you can tell me a little bit about those musician portraits, and then as well as like, what are you listening to right now? Have you got any new albums going? Anything that's like getting you through this time?
Well, I'm such a nerd when it comes to music. I just bought a record player not that long ago. So, and I listen to obscure. So I've got a lot of bands from Europe and some post rock bands here in the States, and I only stick to that genre when it comes to records. But it's the music that I love, and I know I'm going to listen to over and over again. So, and in terms of Nashville, there's tons of phenomenal portraiture photographers here. I'm not trying to necessarily take that business away from them, but occasionally I will get a fun shoot with an artist. I photographed Mickey Goiton, who's like an up and coming Nashville country music star, right, like literally days before the pandemic kind of shut down Nashville. And I got to do that in a new fancy hotel here. And she was so kind and gracious. And that was great. Phenomenal to meet her and work with her. I did get to shoot Sheryl Crow right
Oh,
before
wow.
her new album dropped, and that was a great experience. I got to kind of walk into her home here in Nashville, and that was incredible. And she
Nice.
also was incredibly kind and gracious, and gave me, very patient with me, and gave me plenty of time to get that done. So it's always fun to get to meet those people and kind of get a peek behind the curtain of those stars.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you have that Sheryl Crow image on your website?
Yeah, it's under the portrait category, buried in there somewhere. So
Okay, cool. I'll have a
yeah,
look at that.
I try not to hit them all in the front of the gallery. So
Nice. And so I know you moved from, looks like you moved from Louisville to Nashville. What brought you to
hmm
Nashville?
actually, my wife, she runs a nonprofit here, and I'm sorry, that's who was giving me a phone call. um, she runs a nonprofit here that serves adults with disabilities, and so I always tell people her job's way more important than mine. So I miss my city of Louisville. I'm grieving with my city right now with the murder of Breonna Taylor. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm here in Nashville now, and it's been a really great move for me for the business, and I think it's really helped push me into a different direction that I necessarily wasn't open to right away, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, that's great. And what kind of direction is that, would you say?
Well, really diving and tackling in the creative process again, kind of diving into commercial work and getting to work with bigger clients and bigger products. I think it's just that the market moved from a mid-city size like Louisville to maybe I would say Nashville is a very similar size city, but because it's become the it city, it's really helped push me and grow with different clients. The city's constantly growing, and new businesses are coming here all the time. So,
Awesome. Well, that sounds promising. Cool. And is there anything you're working on besides photography, like personal project wise?
well, I am trying to tackle a personal project right now that I had the ball rolling. We were good to go, and then of course COVID hit, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's still in its infancy, but it does have to do with the environmental effects here in Tennessee and in the South. Um, but hopefully that will start up pretty soon. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that there won't be a second wave and we'll be able to kind of move forward with the project. But because it's been relatively slow lately, I've actually been doing a podcast. So I've got about 9 episodes in to the re-edit, and you can check that out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
And I'm really talking to a really eclectic group of photographers, photo editors, commercial photographers, Pulitzer Prize winners, and really just kind of helping myself stay motivated during this time and helping others stay motivated as well. And hopefully it serves as a bit of an archive for, the best photographers working today.
Nice. So you kind of had some practice before our interview today. You've been doing podcasts.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with the radio voice. So
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to check it out.
yeah,
And
and
what did
there's a website, and it's thereedit.com, and you can
okay.
kind of see an archive and see photos, and there's links to other people's. Um, so yeah, please check that out.
Awesome. And do you think you'll be doing portraits of your guests?
I don't think I will because everything's remotely, but they're sending me headshots, and we're doing that. But maybe one day, you never know. If once things
Okay,
get back to normal.
cool. So besides that, do you have any other commercial jobs, editorial jobs that are lined up right now, or is everything still kind of just a little bit on hold?
Well, some of the work that I've missed out on in the beginning of the year, I think is coming back. So I'm waiting to hear back from a couple things. Unfortunately, one of those was a big trip, and that involved, a trip to Michigan and doing some work with one of my clients. But I don't think that's coming back yet. I think they're still shut. They have their offices shut down there. So, but I'm hoping one of the jobs here will be back really soon. So, fingers crossed.
Cool. And is that going to be mostly people shooting
Yes,
portraits?
and again, being very secure, knowing that we're going to be lean and mean, knowing that we're all going to have PPE and we're going to do it as safe as humanly possible.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's see. I don't know if I have any other questions for you besides like, what do you have planned for the rest of the day?
Well, I got that run in, so I'm excited about that. And now it's a lot of emailing, so I'm constantly trying to keep up with the emails. And unfortunately, I do have one more podcast that I need to get edited, so I'll be doing that.